Alright, what's going on, you guys? You saw the title, you know what's going on. It's FUDD-BUSTERS episode number 1. I'm sure everybody at some point has seen this target. It's got all the different pie cutouts telling you what you're doing wrong when you're shooting pistols. I don't believe a single part of it. I think it's trash, garbage, money grab. The worst part is people believe it. I was out here the other day, saw somebody with a target up, and when I approached them to ask if that target was helpful, if they were learning anything, they said, yeah, I just got a couple things to work on, like I need to make sure that I'm not using too much finger on the trigger. Gotta make sure I'm not thumbing it. Can't be thumbing it. I don't know what that means. I don't think it's real. I think it's just a money grab. The fact that they're putting these ideas into new shooters' heads that their thumbs are having an effect on where their bullets are landing. I don't believe it. So we're going to test it out today. I have a target that looks similar to the ones that they use. I refuse to spend money on them and buy them to fuel the machine of misinformation. But I got a similar target. We're going to learn from it today. We're going to go down the list of all these things that it's saying that you're doing wrong. I'm going to do those things specifically and see if it causes my shot to go off target. Let's get into it. But before we get into the video, of course, we have to mention this video's sponsor. And that sponsor is the Lonestar gun range. I reached out to them to ask if I could use their tac bay, and they said, absolutely. Use our tac bay. You can use any of our rentals for any of your videos. They've been so kind and so gracious to me. They're out here in Lockhart, Texas. They got a tac bay. That's what I'm using today. It's a private rentable bay that you can also get if you're in the area. They also have a 50, 100-yard range. They have a 15-yard range, a 25-yard range. They have a 7-yard range. They have a shotgun range where you can shoot skeet. Come and check them out. You can go to their website, lonestargunrange.com. They got a lot of good stuff. Also, October 18th, 6:45 to 9:30, they're doing a night shoot out here. Bring your nods, bring your thermals, bring your IR lasers, IR lights, whatever you got, because they're shooting at nighttime. I know a lot of indoor ranges like to do like low light training stuff where they cut off a few of their lights and you can kind of test out your nods, get the experience a little bit. But nothing beats getting out here at nighttime once the sun's gone down and just using the ambient light from the moon to visualize your target and your surroundings. So check their social medias for information on that, what to bring, what not to bring. Just look up Lonestar Gun Range on Instagram or Facebook. With that being said, let's shoot some rounds, huh? All right, now, again, most of the stuff I have no idea what it means. Okay, so we're starting with the very top, 12 o'clock on this target, breaking your wrist up. A quick Google search of that told me that it's essentially another form of anticipation where you just kind of like, you have a really loose wrist. Only problem I could see with that is getting some sort of limp wristing jam, like the gun doesn't cycle all the way. So I'm just going to hold it with really, really loose wrists to see if that does anything to raise the impact of the bullet. Let's go ahead and see. Limp wrists here. Like completely limp. My grip is almost non-existent on this gun. We're going to aim at dead center. We're going to do 3 rounds per. Huh. Okay, all right. That's a little interesting. My very first shot was fucking high. The other 2 I kind of corrected a little bit to bring them both down, but wasn't expecting that. All right. Next on the list is anticipating the recoil. It's like the 1 or 2 o'clock. I'm not going to do that because, first of all, when you anticipate recoil, your hands are driven downward, right? Because you're bracing for that impact, you're bracing for that recoil, your arms are going to go downward. It's not going to go up. I don't know why the fuck these targets are saying that it's going to go up, like bracing for recoil brings your hands up a little bit. It doesn't make sense to me. So we're going to keep on moving. I don't even want to try that one because I feel like I've trained out the anticipation to where I would have to like do it artificially, and it's not good science. So next up is thumbing it. Too much pressure with your thumbs. what I'm going to do is, I'm going to take this gun and I'm going to push as hard as I can with my thumbs into this gun to see if it'll work. And we're going to aim dead center again. So let's see, pushing as hard as I can with my thumbs. As hard as I can! As hard as I can! What do you know? Still straight there. I was pushing really fucking hard with my thumbs. So that's not, you know, it's a little bit off for 7 yards, but I mean, it's not going to the right at all. It's a freaking vertical line. All right, next is squeezing your whole hand with the trigger pull. I feel like you want to be squeezing your hands with each trigger pull because you want to have a nice, firm, solid vice grip on that gun while you're shooting it. So I don't know why having a proper shooting grip would cause your rounds to go low to the right. Because I don't know about y'all, but I always squeeze the gun whenever I'm about to pull off a shot. So we're going to give that a try, which is pretty much just my normal grip, right? Squeezing with my fingers. I'm going to squeeze really freaking hard, though, harder than I normally do. What do you know? Nada. All right, keeping right up with the clockwork here. Breaking wrist down or relaxing too soon. I'm gonna again have my hands completely relaxed, just kind of in a downward angle instead of an upward angle. I think I did upward, downward last time. I don't fucking know, dude. We're just gonna make it another relaxed 3 shots. How we doing on ammo? Still doing good. All right. Relaxing too soon. Yeah, we're punching out the red. Still nothing. Still absolutely nothing wrong with what we're doing. If it keeps going this way, it's not looking good for the FUDD target. We only have 2 rounds left in this magazine, and then I gotta go load. But something tells me a 3rd round wouldn't make much of a difference. So yeah, next up is jerking or squeezing your fingertips while shooting around. I don't even want to try to explain this anymore in a way that's rational. So we're gonna slap the shit out of the trigger, just absolutely smack that shit, and see if that does anything. So my finger's completely off. Okay, there might be something to it. There might be something to this one. Okay. All right, so yeah, okay. All right. Maybe. I'll give you a maybe. Maybe it's not all complete horseshit. We'll see. Let's go load another mag. All right. So, whole reason I'm doing this shit is I've worked a lot as an RSO and a shooting instructor, and I see a lot of bad habits and just random overcomplicated, where was I? Overcomplicated bullshit being put into new shooters' heads. So I'm kind of just making this to figure out for myself if I've held those stereotypes for too long. That these targets and what these people say about thumbing it or squeezing with your fingers or your wrist is wrong, is even if it makes any sense at all. So far, I'm not convinced. There might be something to jerking the trigger, but as I said in my previous video, there's only 2 things that dictate the outcome of your shot, and that's your sight placement or sight alignment and how you squeeze the trigger. So really smacking the trigger tracks with everything I've held true so far. I don't know, let's keep it rolling. All right, we have made it to 9 o'clock on the FUDD target. So next up, it's a cleared gun. It's too much or too little finger on the trigger. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stick my freaking eye poker all the way in that bitch and try to squeeze off around with the first joint of my finger And then if that goes well, I'm going to stick just the freaking tip of my nail on the trigger and see if that works, okay? Let's give it a try. All right, first one, finger all the way in the gun. I can't even get a good grip this way, but we're going to try it. Well, this doesn't hurt. It does kind of hurt. It's like pinching my finger behind the trigger. All right, and now just the freaking tip of my nail on that trigger safety just so I can get a shot off. Yeah, there's literally no difference in the target. It's just going through the same hole at this point. So we're going to move on. And now we're finally at 11 o'clock. The last one before we completed the full circle on the target. And this one is pushing, anticipating, or not enough follow through. So what I'm going to do is, I don't really get pushing or anticipating, so I'm going to do absolutely no follow through at all. I'm going to shoot it and immediately lower it, which I do see a lot. And while that's bad from a tactical standpoint, to shoot and then immediately lower your gun, I don't think it's going to make any difference on whether or not the shot that you already shot is going to change based on what you do after you've shot. It doesn't make any sense to me. We're going to try it. Let's see. All right, 0 follow through. Let's see what we got. That one round we threw off from smacking the trigger, we punched out the red. All right. I think it's safe to say that this is bullshit. All right. So what did we learn? You can't believe all these little rumors you hear online about gripping it or having your wrist right or squeezing too much with your fingers or yada yada. It doesn't matter. All that matters is that you have a good sight picture or sight alignment, depending on if you're using irons or a dot. All that matters is that the way you squeeze the trigger should be nice, slow, and smooth all the way to the rear. All right. And with that, making sure your trigger squeeze is good is making sure you don't anticipate. That's one thing I didn't really talk about much, but anticipation is like the #1 problem I see new pistol shooters making, is they're subconsciously trying to brace for that recoil, and as soon as you can realize what it is you're doing, as soon as it clicks in your head that that's what anticipating is, you're going to see your shot groups like get sucked in like a black hole, dead center. That's the video. But if you're a longtime Louis Capone fan and you want to know what's going on with me content, how that's going to go going forward, I put out a video a while back. It was titled something like "This Sucks to Talk About." How I wanted to change this, my YouTube at least, into shooting content. And that is the plan that I have going forward, to have my long form videos be shooting content, my short forms like YouTube Shorts or Instagram or TikTok still be music stuff, because I do still like making music with a few gaming stuff sprinkled in there. But the one thing that I haven't promoted much is my YouTube live stream. I am going to start going live on YouTube a whole lot more often. We're going to be doing mostly video game stuff, but also I've tried this a few live streams ago, making music on live, like with y'all's input and your ideas, kind of working as like a Louis Cruz cipher so we can make songs together. I think that's a ton of fun. But a majority of the time, it's just going to be me playing video games, hanging out with y'all, talking to chat. So if that's something that interests you, if you want to come hang out with us, we got a Discord server, and we have a live stream that I do pretty much every day. You know, I am a full-time college student, and I work on the weekends. But I try my best to stream every night around 7 o'clock Central Time. So if that's something that sounds cool to you, I'll see you in the live stream. Thanks for watching, you guys. I'll catch you on the next one.